Hi, Farah. I would like to talk to you as a journalist today about this situation that is happening around, and I would want to know your perspective. To which media we should believe, to which not, how to recognize which media is actually truth and which one is not. Everybody obviously knows that you're a co-founder of Layali and my partner, but I would like to know more about your experience in the media and in the journalism.
Sure. Well, it's good to chat to you on video for a change. I'm a journalist by trade. It's what I studied, and it's where I've worked for a number of years in media, communications, public relations. In my home country of South Africa, I worked as a journalist there for about 10 years before moving to the Middle East and working in communications and media, which was for like another 5-6 years as well. So all my experience has been in writing, media, journalism. I've worked, more importantly, in actual newsrooms where news was breaking as well. So I worked particularly with a huge team during COVID, and we did breaking news.
In the Middle East, you worked in Qatar first, then Bahrain, and then
Yes.
in Saudi. I can say that you know as well, very well, a mentality of the news in the region.
Yes.
Can you explain what is AI and fake news, right? And how and why does it spread during these exact times?
So basically, AI is artificial intelligence. And AI can be used to create fake news. It can be used to create fake videos, which usually these videos confirm a fear that we're feeling inside and confirm a bias, or it confirms something that we are all talking about amongst ourselves, and content is then created around that. And what happens is when we see news or content or information that confirms a fear or a bias or something that we might be talking about amongst ourselves, we end up sharing that. And as we share that, the quicker the algorithm picks it up and continues to share it. It's the same thing that we see just with content in general on our social media platforms. As we see it and as we share it, it begins to get shared more and more and faster. And this is how viral content is created. And during times of uncertainty, often fake news, disinformation gets shared a lot faster because it's confirming how we might be feeling inside.
What should people do when they see like a piece of the news in the social media or online? Like, how do they recognize what they should do?
So I think the first thing is to look at who you are already following and what type of news and information you're following. Make sure that it's coming from firstly verified sources, so from the NCC, from Ministry of Interior, from the airlines themselves, from their pages, and then from actual news sources that are known for news.
And what about the children? Because the children now, of course, they're having an access, I mean, much easier,
Yes.
of course, than our generations, and to the phones and to the social media, especially. And like, what can parents teach their kids about spreading this news online? You know, because the kids see and they start, of course, feeling even more anxious.
So with regards to children and sharing information online and the access that they have now like never before, I read an interesting article that said the same way that you need to teach your children safety when it comes to crossing the street, you need to apply that same safety when it comes to a digital age where our children are living now. So we need to be very careful about how we teach them about the information that they're receiving. So we need to speak to them on their level, depending on what age, that age group that they're at. But something nice that I saw online was that somebody recommended that we need to speak about it as if it's a lie or if it's a rumor. So just the same way in school, like someone might say something about somebody else and it's not true, we can equate it to the same thing. And the more people share the lie, the bigger the lie becomes. So that's a good way to relate it to your children and take it back to your children and explain to them that if they are seeing something online, it might not be true and they need to be careful about what they share. Encourage them to ask questions. Encourage them to talk about what they're seeing. Ask them about what they're seeing. And don't be afraid to show how you are getting verified information and what steps you take before you share information on a WhatsApp group or on social media.
Yeah, I think big part is that the kids definitely do copy the parents. So
Yes.
the way how we react, obviously they will be reacting as well. What should someone do if they realize that they shared something false?
So I think it happens a lot on our family WhatsApp groups. It happens a lot on our friends WhatsApp groups. It happens. People make mistakes, especially in uncertain times. You're not thinking clearly. You're not thinking straight sometimes. And like I said in the beginning, if it confirms your bias, you're naturally going to share it. I think if you're sharing things on a group, to just delete it and say, guys, this is not true, or I made a mistake, or I shared this too quickly before checking it, so that it doesn't continue to get spread.
So then can you explain the difference between opinion news and misinformation?
So opinion might, and hopefully it's coming from an expert. So someone who has studied politics, someone who has studied perhaps trade, someone who has studied what might be happening currently in the region, or who is an expert, who has some kind of experience in what they're talking about, who might share an opinion about on a news channel, in a publication, on even a social media channel, but they have some kind of background in what they're actually talking about. Misinformation might be an opinion that is shared without the correct knowledge, without the correct information, without necessarily being an expert on the subject. And again, it goes back to how you might feel about the situation. And it's important to separate your feelings from the facts. So they might align with your thinking, but that doesn't necessarily mean that those are the facts.
And are fact-checking tools, are they available and reliable?
Yes, journalists might have their own, independent sources and fact-checking tools that they might use in a newsroom, but that might not necessarily apply for everyday, people. So I think the first thing is your first mission is to make sure that you're following the institutions relating to what's going on the ground. I think another good thing is to find 3 to 5 sources for yourself every day where you have seen news being verified, and where this news outlet says that this might happen or this is happening, that it aligns with what's happening on the ground.
How can communities in the GCC handle rumors during these sensitive periods? Because I believe this period is very, I'm not going to say new, but it is definitely something new for us in GCC.
When it comes to rumors, to take everything with a pinch of salt. Don't be afraid to go back and check what people are sharing with you to make sure that it is actually what is happening on the ground. And also, the more you train your eye to look for information that is verified, it becomes easier to not listen to a rumor and then spread that rumor.
In GCC, in general, I think we use very much Instagram as the main source of any news about the rules, what's happening, more than anything else. Well, TikTok as well, I would say, but much less than Facebook, for example.
Yeah.
Which more platforms, let's say, that you would recommend for the people to follow, and you as a journalist yourself, you follow?
First and foremost, to follow the alerts that we're getting on our phones before anything else. Then to look at the NCC, and to look at the Ministry of Interior, and to look at the Ministry of Defense as well, Bahrain Defense Force as well. Those are the 3 top places I would recommend to get official news and information and alerts. It helps also with the local media outlets, radio stations, newspapers that are local within your region, within your country, to also keep an eye on that, because they work closely with communication channels that are in senior level to get information out as well. They are working together.
I have to add, especially the group, GCC group, and in WhatsApp, and Moms in Bahrain has been, for me personally, very, very helpful in all informations. So yes, I believe that WhatsApp groups can be as well very good source, but we need to definitely break what is false and what is actually correct, because people there just share, and sometimes you just get overwhelmed with everything.
Yeah, I also think that some of the WhatsApp groups are really good because they are moderated. So, messages might get deleted if they, causing panic, causing alarm, that kind of thing. And also, a lot of the groups I'm seeing, people are asking, where did you get this information from? Which is exactly what should be asked. please verify. I've seen messages going, please verify this before you share it. So good moderated WhatsApp groups are also good to get information in your local area as well.